And so begins the closing act of the NASCAR Miscraft Cup Series Season number 8. We're here on race 8 out of 10. 2 more regular season races to go here in Atlanta, and then we venture all the way out west to the LA Coliseum. Get ready to find out who the final 4 is going to be to go for this, the 8th championship of the NASCAR Miscraft Cup Series. Today we begin the venture to the final track, over half a mile in length for the season here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, newly reconfigured to a brand new super speedway style of racing. And coming into this race, here are the point standings. After Indianapolis, Ryan Blaney, Alex Bowman, Joey Logano, and Denny Hamlin are currently into the final 4 spots right now. And there's a few other drivers back behind them. A lot of champions trying to go for their second title, and we'll see how that all plays out here today. Let's go and take a look at some of the drivers to watch out for here today. Austin Dillon, he'll be starting on pole in the Bass Pro Shops number 3 machine here today. He's been solid on the new super speedways, especially in the Daytona 500 earlier this season. And same for Alex Bowman, who starts 18th here today. Winner last time out in Indianapolis. He's only 9 points out from points leader Ryan Blaney, so comfortably looking comfortable trying to get himself into the final 4 here in Atlanta and into LA Coliseum next race. Now let's go take a look at the starting lineup here today. It's Austin Dillon and Chase Briscoe on the front row, then Christopher Bell and William Byron. And you have best buddies Bubba Wallace and Ryan Blaney, that is. Then you have Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson. Rounding out the top 10 will be Chase Elliott and Brad Keselowski. They have Austin Cindric and Martin Truex Jr. Behind them is Harrison Burton and Sticky Stenhouse. And then you're going to have the 22 of Joey Logano and Eric Jones. Behind them is Kyle Busch and Alex Bowman. Rounding out the top 20 here today is Tyler Reddick and Kevin Harvick. They have Ross Chastain and Noah Gragson. Behind them will be Chris Buescher and Eric Almirola, a pair of Fords. And they're going to have Daniel Suarez, your Daytona 500 winner, and Kurt Busch. They have Cole Custer and Corey LaJoie, and rounding out your 30 car field here today with Josh Bilicki and Kaz Grala. As we get ready to go into this race here today, it'll be a 10-lap event here at night in Hampton, Georgia. On the final race over a half mile in length here today, like I mentioned before, on the 1.5 mile, 28-degree banked Atlanta Motor Speedway, newly reconfigured to a super speedway style of racing. So we're going to see a lot of guys that we see at Daytona and Talladega in the front here in Atlanta. So expect them to be good here today as the cars fire up and roll off a pit lane. Austin Dillon will be soon getting on the loud pedal and bringing these guys to the green flag. Like I said, 10 laps is the distance. We got 2 races left in regulation, and points are of utmost concern for these drivers here today. Can they make it to the finish, and how high in the running order can they be? Off turn number 4, they come to the green flag. Austin Dillon brings them up through the gears for the first time today. Down at turn number 1, a good push from Christopher Bell will get the 3 out to a solid lead. Top 2 single file, onto the back straight in now. Top 3 looking single file with Bubba Wallace and company pulling up to the top side in front of Chase Briscoe. Off of turn number 4, here comes Christopher Bell looking for the lead already. A little bit of contact with the 3 of Austin Dillon to try to lead the first lap of the race with help from Denny Hamlin. They'll do that back to turn number 1. Here comes the 9 of Chase Elliott to the inside of Austin Dillon looking for second. And they are side by side. That's for third off of turn number 2. Heading down to turn number 3, here comes the 2 of Cindric to the inside. He'll dive bomb to the inside of the 9 of Chase Elliott, put him through the sucker hole there. And Elliott deploys the anchor in the middle of the pack here as Christopher Bell continues to lead with help from Denny Hamlin, his teammate. Down to turn 1, here comes Austin Dillon to the inside with a huge push from the 23 of Bubba Wallace. And Wallace looks to the outside, so does Austin Dillon back for the point down the back straightaway. Christopher Bell begins to fall back on the inside lane, but there goes Denny Hamlin sliding up. They're 3 wide again with a little bit of contact from Chase Briscoe to put the 11-3 wide. Across the line right there is Dillon leading now, with the 23 now getting pushed out. Here comes the 14 again to the outside, making moves on these Toyotas. Everyone was trying to get that Toyota brigade out, and Chase Briscoe was the guy to do it. And off of turn number 4, he's trying to take the lead. Oh, he's going to get turned off the front bumper of William Byron, slamming hard on the outside wall. A single car spin off turn 4. Looks like nobody else was involved miraculously off the corner, and the first caution is out here in Hampton. Chase Briscoe went for a wild ride off the banking of turn number 4. Let's see what happened here. Going for the lead on Austin Dillon. It looks like William Byron gave him a little bit too much of a shove. Got that car out of shape coming off the corner and just sent that number 14 of a Hendrick Tractors machine around off the front bumper of the 24. Looks like there might just be a little bit of nose damage to the 14 car, but he should be able to continue today. Did a very good job not coming back into traffic right there off the corner, and as that car fishtailed off the front bumper of that Camaro. So we're restarting here on lap number 6. We 5 laps to go here in Atlanta. Byron also got some repairs too to the front of that race car. But once again, Austin Dillon will be leading us back to the green flag. He'll be on the inside with Christopher Bell shotgun to the field, and he gets a little bit squirrely at the front bumper of Joey Logano, 3 wide for second. Here comes Cindric now to the back bumper, now to the outside of Austin Dillon with help from Joey Logano and his other teammate Ryan Blaney up on the top side of the racetrack. Man, Penske has rallied up the troops on the top side with the help from the 21 machine, the Wood Brothers machine. Oh, Denny Hamlin shoves the 3-3 wide. He'll deploy that anchor as they come onto the front straightaway and complete lap number 6. Denny Hamlin now looking for the point on the inside of the Penske guys on the outside lane, with Cindric, the rookie, continuing to lead onto the back straightaway. Joey Logano with a good run, going to try to ease that number 2 car further out front. Here comes another huge run from the outside lane. Look at Kyle Busch storming up the outside. He'll crossways to the inside. Oh, there's contact, and Cindric turn on the wall. A big crash on the front straightaway, and there goes the 6 of Keselowski, tumbling across the start-finish line, and we're back under the yellow flag on lap number 7. There was Denny Hamlin. Harrison Burton was also involved with Kevin Harvick stuck on the infield grass. Chase Elliott again involved in another crash. 3 in a row for Kyle Larson as well. And we're back under the yellow flag just past halfway in Atlanta. Let's see what happened. You can see just out of frame there, the 18 pulled up to the outside with help from the 4 of Harvick and dove to the inside of the Penske guys as they tried to cover. And Cindric got sent hard on the outside retaining wall. That car was sent pirouetting across the line and clipped the right front, it looked like, of Brad Keselowski. And that car catapulted over the right front right there, did a single tumble, and it came back to rest on all 4s. You see Stenhouse and Chastain and Christopher Bell, a lot of strong race cars up against the outside wall after this melee on the front straight. Oh man, you can see the 5 of Larson get picked up off the front end of the 1 of Chastain. Let's see it one more time here. Busch to the inside, try to make the move on Cindric again. And remember, you cannot pass below that double white line on the inside. And so Busch went as far down as he could, and contact with the 2 cars sent them all spinning into the big one. Well, with this caution, we will be restarting on lap number 9 out of 10. That means 2 laps to go here in Atlanta to find out who's going to win this race. Green flag is back in the air for Kyle Busch. Side by side for second with the Penske guys back to turn 1. Busch tries to cover Blaney, but they're in the outside wall, and Logano comes through to the lead. Alex Bowman now going to try to get up in there and try to get him 2 race wins in a row. Back to turn 3, coming to the white flag. This time by Blaney pulls up top in front of Martin Truex Jr. Logano pulls up to cover. 1 lap to go, 1.5 miles remains. They're switching back and forth. Here comes Peck to the outside. Truex dives low to 3 wide for the lead. But Logano against the outside wall, against the back bumper of Blaney. He tries to block low. Here comes Kurt Busch out of nowhere, 3 wide through the middle. With help from Noah Gragson off turn number 4. Kurt Busch with the lead, 3 wide for second off turn 4 for the final time. Gragson throws a block and he spins. Kurt Busch wins. Another huge crash across the line. Sends the 62 this time tumbling, and a caution's back out across the line, but Kurt Busch is the victor here in Atlanta. Oh man, another huge incident coming to the checkered flag. You see here off turn number 2, the 12 blocked low on the inside of the 22. Kurt Busch went down there as well and somehow made that car stick 3 wide through the middle with help from the 62 of Gragson. And across the line, Gragson tried to pull to the inside of the 45 to get the win, but he didn't have enough room to get down there and wrecked himself across the nose of the 22. And let's see what happened here off turn number 4 again. See the 45 pulled through the middle lane, went up high, and the 62 tried to dive low, looking for that first Miscraft Cup Series win in his first few starts. But the Wendy's Biggie Bag machine ends up turtled and crumbled out of this race here. But he still finished second though, which is miraculous enough. And look at the 45 coming across the line with just melee in the rearview mirrors. And what a performance for the 45 to come from the back of the field to win here in Atlanta. Kurt Busch gets it done and finally gets another win here in the Miscraft Cup Series. It's been a little while, but he's definitely done it. And here's the race results here from today's race. Kurt Busch, Noah Gragson, Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, and Alex Bowman. A few of those guys are drivers that were up in the top 4 in points, at least running for it. And so they're going to extend and help their healthy points position here today. Take a look at the race results later down the line. A lot of these cars are involved in the crashes from Reddick all the way down to Ross Chastain, excuse me. Yeah, tough luck for a lot of these guys here in Atlanta. A lot of melee here in Atlanta. We were expecting this from the Super Speedway. The next race will be coming up from the LA Coliseum. The reason we're telling you this right now before we show you the point standings is because the regular season finale will only have the top 20 in points competing, and there may or may not be a little bit of a kink here or there that could get a few more cars in, but we'll have to see how that goes on down the line. Here are the standings after today's race. Joey Logano is the points leader, tied with Alex Bowman, both of them going for their first Miscraft Cup Series championships, but Ryan Blaney and Denny Hamlin are also in, and they're going for their championships, and Truex is currently in 5th, and he's looking to try to defend his Season 7 title from just a year ago. And you see the cutoff. And so begins the closing act of the NASCAR Miscraft Cup Series Season number 8. We're here on race 8 out of 10. 2 more regular season races to go here in Atlanta, and then we venture all the way out west to the LA Coliseum. Get ready to find out who the Final Four is going to be to go for this, the 8th championship of the NASCAR Miscraft Cup Series. Today we begin the venture.
Have you ever wondered how you could never miss a race of the NASCAR Pepsi Cup Series? Well, if you scroll over to the playlist tab, scroll down a little bit, and find this little section here, you will see all of the archives from every race of the Napa/Pepsi Cups. Hello and welcome everyone to Race 5 this season. We are here at Talladega Super Speedway. It is time to go racing. Super Speedway racing here today in the Pepsi Cup Series. As already mentioned, it's Season 5, Race 5 this season. Already closing in on the halfway point of this, what will be the longest season in series history at 13 races. And boy, this could very well top them all. However, I don't know how you're going to beat last race at Suzuka, which, I mean, there's no way it wasn't the best race in series history, but we're going to try today. But first off, we have to get to our ones to watch. Denny Hamlin starts on pole in the FedEx number 11 car. Can he pick up what I believe would be his first win in the series today? Today's probably his best shot to do so on a super speedway and from pole. Brad Keselowski going to be aggressive today. We know that 6 car is fast on these super speedways. Look out for him because he will be on the move. Chase Elliott has been the most dominant on super speedways of anybody, leading more laps than everybody else and leading at least 1 lap per race in the last 2 seasons. Justin Haley as well, another strong super speedway racer, starting deep in the field though. He has some ways to go to get up to the front of this pack. And starting way out back, it's Ross Chastain. He's got an even longer way to go if he wants to find himself in victory lane at the end of the day as we get ready to go racing here today at Talladega. It's going to be a fun race. It's really all we could say right now. So many unknowns coming into today's race. As they roll off, though, here's the starting grid. Rodco Racing is alongside Penske King 22. And behind them, Noah's Gaming 2.0 lines up alongside Earl Racing Productions in row number 2. In row 3, we have the NASCAR Coca-Cola Cup Series alongside Jimmy John's Cup Series. And in row 4, it's the TNCS Racing Network and the Gaming Duo. Row number 5, it's CAN 142 and SRT 0616. And in row number 6, we have RS Conover and Luigi Plush Productions. Row number 7, it's Gavin Beers 12 and Zach on the track. In row number 8, we have R Alamo and Log Drive. Row number 9, we have the 1 Mile Cup Series. He starts alongside SNCS Racing Network. In row 10, we have Mickey and Jeffy Show and Landon. Row number 11, we have NASCAR Mini Stop Motions and Nitro Apple. In row 12, it's Trevor Banana and Mr. Fly to the Sky. My Wi-Fi Crashed is in row 13. He's alongside Allegiant. And Mr. Coffee YT is alongside Erzaka 5775 behind them. Row 15 is Bryce's Sports and Plushies and Drake and Friends. And row 16 is the NLCS Racing Network and NLS Network. And rounding out the field in row 17, 33rd and 34th, we have Noah Probably and Hartford Menard. And with that, that is the starting lineup for today's race. 34 cars, 10 laps will run today with a halfway break at lap 5, awarding points. It's a super speedway race, so look out for that huge pack and watch for the big one. Will we have the big one today? And if so, how many people will it take out? You just never know at Talladega as the green flag is in the air. We're underway. Dead even down the back straightaway. But Joey Logano getting a bit of a push, and now he gets left out to dry in the middle lane, the sucker hole, as Brad Keselowski powers around the outside. trying to get up into that top 3. He does for a bit, but here goes Byron with Chase Elliott. The Hendrick teammates strong early on. They're going to pull up in front of that 3rd line, and now all 4 Hendrick teammates nose to tail as Elliott gets a little bit sideways. Hamlin, though, leads the first lap as now he is being tandem drafted with Tyler Reddick. Not as strong as it was with the Gen 5 car of tomorrow. Got to keep in mind. And now Byron drops down to the middle to get in front of Ricky Stenhouse and have a go for the lead here. They're side by side. Coming out of turn number 4 to complete lap 2. Elliott on the outside powers in front of the lead, and there's trouble behind them. Hard hit for Ryan Blaney in the 12. Many others involved. First caution of the day, and it's a mini big one. Here, down towards the back of the field. Huge impact, huge damage to Ryan Blaney. You can look, it bent the windshield even on that car. Just a big hit. You could see right there where Kaz Gralla in that 50 car went into the door of him. That might leave a bit of a mark. You could see Ross Chastain started at the back of the field. He'll finish at the back of the field and out of this race along with Martin Truex Jr. That's Corey LaJoie in the 7. And we're under caution. Chase Elliott, once again for at least the 6th straight super speedway, has led a lap, I believe. Right, 6 straight. Here's a look at the replay. Looks like it was a bad bump from Bubba Wallace or something there. Almost fully collecting Chris Buescher. Gives him a bit of damage, but not much. Then you have Austin Cindric involved in this accident. Cindric drives away. He'll get 4 fresh tires and some fuel and be on his way for the rest of the race. Everybody else involved, that's LaJoie, Chastain, Truex, Gralla, and Blaney are out. We'll have 1 lap to the halfway break on this restart as the green flag flies once again. We are back racing and it's Hendrick teammates on the front row. Doesn't look like any teamwork here as Bowman is going for the points over championship leader and race leader Chase Elliott, and he gets turned, and into the inside wall goes Alex Bowman, and a big hit for the 48, bringing out the caution to end the first half. Who was in front? Was it Elliott or Byron? Getting reports now that it was William Byron in front at the time of the yellow, so he will take the 25-point advantage, and that could be huge later on because that's a 7-point difference for Chase Elliott there in this championship. So now they're heading down into the pit lane. William Byron, the race leader, halfway winner. He is in for some 4 tires and fuel in that 24 Chevy Camaro for Hendrick Motorsports. Same could be said about Chase Elliott in the number 9, 4 tires and a little bit of fuel to make it to the end of this race. Look out for that 9 car. He should be strong. It's very tight on fuel, so a lot of these guys are just topping off. Denny Hamlin also in the 11 car, the pole sitter. Led the opening lap, has not led since, but has looked strong nevertheless. And Ricky Stenhouse Jr. also in. He's been pretty aggressive today. Pretty silent up at the front of the field as well as they come out of the pit lane. Byron, Hamlin, Logano, Larson, and Gilliland. Your top 5 as it's a pretty mediocre stop for Chase Elliott. Cody Ware and Austin Cindric stay out and will take over the top 2 spots. As there's a look at the replay. Looks like a bad bump from Chase Elliott. Puts his teammate Alex Bowman in the wall. Or maybe just a big bump, not necessarily bad. Sometimes the speed difference is just so big that it's really easy, to lose these cars, especially these next gens, as Austin Cindric and Cody Ware lead the field to the green for the second half of this race. Heading on to the back straightaway. Once again, dead heat for the lead. Here comes Larson on the outside. Ware cannot get up in time to block that, and the 51 is stuck in the middle line with Hamlin behind him. Dangerous spot if you're Denny Hamlin. He wants to win this race. He feels he needs to win this race to really get back in the championship, but he's stuck in that middle line, and he has 3rd place runner in the championship. Christopher Bell right behind him as Ware drops down to the bottom, giving Hamlin leadership of that middle line, and Kyle Larson trying to get down. He will in the 5 car. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. powering on that outside line, though, trying to make something happen, and I think they're starting to go 4 wide in the back even. So I think that was Briscoe trying to make a move. As Hamlin to the outside, 3 wide for the lead. You can see Briscoe there really forcing his way through the field, and they are 4 wide. Look at how beautiful that is as they cross the line to get 3 laps to go. Ware and Hamlin side by side onto the backstretch. Hamlin up to block Bell. Trouble! Bell in the wall. Stenhouse is involved. Suarez as well. Big crash on the back straightaway. It's the big one. Byron, Elliott, all out of the race. Logano involved as well. That's Suarez on his side/roof. Stenhouse is jacked up in the air. Kyle Larson is in it. Tyler Reddick, Kyle Busch. I already mentioned Christopher Bell. He started that. That is the 77 underneath the 47. And you can see the 31 is also propped up in the air with Cole Custer underneath him. 62 car, that's Dale Earnhardt Jr. involved in this mess. He's driving that Project 62 car for today's race. Massive accident here at Talladega. So many people involved. There's Chase Elliott. Will not win a super speedway race. I mentioned how he's the most dominant of any driver, yet he has not won a super speedway in that dominant stretch. Most of the time, it ends up just like it has today with a wreck for the 9 car. William Byron as well, so strong, needed a good result. Not going to get, to be fair, he might still get a somewhat decent result, a salvageable result. It'll just be in the garage. He'll probably be just on the back end of the top 10, though, because he is one of the first scored in this accident. That's the benefits of being taken out in an accident that takes out so many others. You could still be scored high up, as you see what happened there. Bell hopped up. Stenhouse gave an aggressive push, I guess, and started that. Might have been Bell switching lanes, really, there, just sort of cutting himself off. And then Suarez just hopped on the 62, and that sort of put him in a relatively slow rollover as Cindric is in along with the 21 of Harrison Burton. Here for pit stops as we'll get ready for the final, what we assume could be the final restart, I should say, here in overtime. I saw overtime and I was jumping to conclusions here. Ware leads them away with Hamlin to his outside, green flag back in the air, and here we go. Not that many cars left, and look at that, the 43 of Eric Jones. Big push to Denny Hamlin. They take the lead down the backstretch. Ware jumping out, and he jumps back in line. And now they're just going to try to duke it out as they come out of turn number 4. The white flag in the flagman's hand, getting ready to be thrown. White flag in the air, trouble, big hit, and a car upside down. That's Chase Briscoe. Caution is out. Race will finish. And a huge accident into the catch fence for Chase Briscoe in the 14. Wow. Huge impact there. Eric Almirola, you can see, also torn to bits. But Wallace, AJ Allmendinger was also in that wreck. I believe Austin Dillon was as well. Denny Hamlin will be scored the winner. But massive incident. You can see Noah Gragson there in the background, also involved. Who's the other driver? Chase Briscoe, man. Here's a look at the replay. Just like Myatt Snyder at Daytona in the Xfinity Series last year. Got turned around. Don't know if he got hit by Almirola, but that nevertheless, the car just took off. And it was gone from there. There's the car flipped back over. And looks like we will most likely have word on the condition of Chase Briscoe at a later time after this race. Eric Almirola also torn to bits, but a major crash here at Talladega. Here are the results. Rodco Racing, a.k.a. Denny Hamlin, takes the win. Allegiant gets his best result in the series of second. That's Eric Jones. Mr. Fly to the